I'll just go live. All right. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Striving to Thriving, Redefining Success. I'm your host, Barbara Ellison of Wellness Playroom. Want to welcome you to the show. First off, we're going to start out with welcoming my co-host, Rich Kozak.
Hi, Barbara Ellison from Wellness Playroom. You are amazing, and I'm glad to be here with you.
Oh, thank you. So, tell us about you and introduce your panel.
Well, the short version of me is I am the founder of Rich Brands, where we are evolving individual brands with divine purpose. We help people take their impacts to a higher level through the work they do, the gifts that they've been given, the callings that they have, making sure that we do branding right at the right time in their life when they're ready to do it. It's a blessing, it's a gift, and I've been doing this for 47 years. Our guests today all have been redefining not only their own success, but helping people whose lives they touch redefine their success in some very, very important ways. Um, let's see, ladies first. Mary O'Dwyer, originally from Ireland, global citizen. She is an expert at helping to reset a person's health and reset the way they feel through the way they breathe. Her brand is a breath, the breath of new life, relief today, transformation forever. It is a powerful world brand, thebreathofnewlife.com. Mary, great to have you with us here.
Thank you.
Frank Lehane he's a character for all seasons. You'll see him with his life blueprint behind him. He travels with it in his mind and in his soul, and bless his heart. Frank is the author of the book From Broke to Six Figures, Steps to Success in Business and Life, where each chapter has a little video where Frank says, here's what you read, but here's what I really want you to hear. And he shares golden nuggets about living. Frank's working on his second book right now. It's about 7 things to not interrupt. He's a powerful life changer for people whose lives he touches. He happens to be the founder of a brand that helps people steward their savings future. And he educates and stewards as a mentor for people. He's been in the financial industry for decades, and he has a special gift, particularly for people who are committed savers. He founded the brand Safe Savings Options, using your money's power, and you can find it at yourmoneyspower.com. Going from big financial picture to tiny little microgreens. Barry Bevier is in Ding Dang, South Carolina. He runs a business growing microgreens to provide them for people that want to eat beautifully well. Barry's transformational life included losing his wife early to a disease that could have the pharmaceuticals for which probably were a large part of the problem. And Barry dug deep, and now he stands for literally managing how we age in a very, very wise ways. He's a Daniel Amen certified brain training specialist, and he also represents a company that's the oldest company out there helping the body create adult stem cells to rejuvenate and manage the aging process. So Barry, it's so glad to have you with us here, buddy. Probably the eldest. No, maybe he's not. He's not the eldest. That's too bad, Andrew. You've lost the eldest category, but he has the coolest mustache with us. Andrew came to me years ago and he said, look, I've been doing managed IT stuff for years, but I have a vision. There's all these things are going to come together and it's going to put a lot of small businesses out of business. it's called internet criminals, that they're using sophisticated software and they break into people's computers to steal stuff to sell on the dark web. And people are now connecting their refrigerators to the internet. So it's like, this is going to be messy. And I have a vision. And he created a business and is now thriving in it. The business is called Compliance Specialists. Compliance Specialists USA.com. And it helps the smallest US businesses, one person up to 10 people, be in compliance with data security laws so they don't get breached and then sued and then put out of business and lose their house and all the people that work for them, and the underbody of our economy goes south because people didn't think they were vulnerable to internet criminals. So Andrew, thank you for being here with us. So much value, and everybody needs to talk to Andrew and take advantage of these little these really, really affordable packages that he does this work just for small businesses. Speaking of small businesses, Tim Palmer he's our ace in the hole today. Tim is what you call a local marketing sharpener. So Tim is in his own state, which happens to be Arizona, but he can be in any state. The state he's always in is a state of improving your marketing. And that means that local businesses can literally use the internet. Tim shows them how, teaches them how, resets their systems so they use the internet to get a regular, dependable stream of leads that are targeted leads for their business, and that they compete on the internet against any business that's in their trading area, even if it's a large business, even if it's a global business, that they'll compete because of the way they use the internet locally. So Tim he's a gold vein for any local business, anywhere. You don't have to be in Arizona. You could be in Omaha. You could be anywhere. Okay. So there you go. 5 extremely interesting people. Only one good looking woman, but that's okay. We only need one. All the guys can Google. 2 good looking women, including Barbara.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Anyways, so yeah, let's have a conversation. Who wants to start? Rich, you want to start, or just want to pick on your panel?
Well, I'll tell you what, let's go in reverse order. Tim, people don't realize, they don't know what they don't know, but they know they need help. Take us into the mindset of a typical client of yours and what happens when you help them redefine success.
Well, thank you, Rich. Yeah. So what I realize, and it's working even with people like this on their panel, but my businesses that I work with regularly, I've realized each of us have a mission in life. That's why we started a business. We wanted to be able to achieve something bigger than what we could do working for someone else, putting that effort and time in with someone else. So I help these individuals that went off, started their own business. I help them achieve that, right? My goal is to help them get that, as Rich put it, kind of steady stream, consistent stream of new clients so they could get a freedom of money that then would give them that freedom of time that they need to achieve that mission in life. So a lot of us maybe don't even realize that we have that mission, and maybe our business is a springboard to it. Maybe our business is our mission. But realistically, once we have that freedom of money and freedom of time, we can do so much more with our families, lift up the life of our family members, lift up the lives of our employees' family members, and like I said, fulfill our own personal missions in life.
Tim, thank you. One of the remarkable things about Tim is a man of strong faith and loves the concept of mission, and builds it right into why he does what he does and whom he targets. He doesn't want people that are just doing stuff for the money. That's not where Tim thrives, and that's not what Tim was made for. So he helps them realize that they can redefine success, and the way that they can give back and be more significant, and look at the purpose of why they're in business, and race toward the mission in addition to running a successful business. But he gives them the undergirding of those systems and processes that deliver what a business needs to grow. So, wow. On that note, I want to go to Frank Lehane. Frank is he is such a delight. I mentioned his books. Frank, share with us share with us how people don't know what they don't know, but they all want things in life. You wrote about this in your first book. They have things that they really want, but they don't know how to get them. They don't even know that there's ways, and you help the people who are in your tribe, the people who are attracted by your language, to literally steward their savings future. Talk about that so we understand, how does a guy who's got his life blueprint behind him and has done all that work on himself help other people by helping them step into a more rewarding and a more thriving life, particularly in their later years?
Wow, that's great. Well, Barbara started off with this whole idea of redefining success. And for me, in search of my people that are like me, it's more of a clarification of what they've always been after, what really brings them life, what drives them. And that's what this is all about. It's just a compilation of very deeply looking within myself, of course, with my creator, God, and saying, God, what did you have me here for? And really, there's the fuel that I need, the fuel that everybody needs. And what I get to do is I get to be that expression to people who are like this. Here's a wonderful client example. I run a widgets company. I do really good at that. I've always done really good at that. I've saved up all this money that I know I have some distinct purposes for, but I'm not really clear what those are. I know I have them though, but I just can't slow down long enough for somebody that I could trust, that could actually deeply listen to what it is and help bring out what it is that my heart's desire is. And with that, I will have the clarity, meaning this wonderful client of mine, they have that clarity. And I because of what I was able to bring to that, I was able to shine the light for them in those areas, really bring them out into the light and make reality clearly seen. So the idea here is clarity. And my clarity and my mission has been that, because in financial, we're all stuffed with all this knowledge that we go out and we think that if we tell people a lot of good stuff and they see us as smart people, that we're going to succeed in life. And, oh yeah, you're going to succeed too. And it's like, wow, it just doesn't turn out that way. And when I really slowed myself down and started just listening to people, it was amazing what a person that trusts, when people trust each other, right, the things they'll share with each other that they don't even share with their closest loved ones. And this is where they live. This is where they've always lived. This is where they lived as children. And somehow that just got waxed over on the way up to middle and later stages of life. So, yeah.
Frank is such a gem for people who have long-term healthy marriages and often successful businesses. Frank is a find for them that literally helps take them to a whole nother level. When I first met Frank, he had to cut our meeting short. He said, "Oh, I have to go to the jail," and I didn't know what to say. It turns out he does prison ministry 6 nights a month, and so here's a man that not only is a man of strong faith, but also lives his faith by sharing it with others, even those who, some of whom have been, they threw away the key when they put him in there. And what a blessing. It's a delight watching Frank engage with people who resonate with what he stands for, and the not only the wisdom, but the education of here's how it works. Here's how wealthy people protect and steward without putting themselves and their lives at risk. And here's how they really accomplish the big things that they wish in their hearts they could, or they have envisioned, but they're too busy to, to nail it down. He's such a blessing to them. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Rich.
So Mary O'Dwyer, when I first met Mary, and she explained to me that she was a food scientist, and she came to the United States to do her doctorate degree, skipped her master's, came over to do her doctorate. She's like, obviously she's smart. And she's like, and she described to me that she was doing all these things. And she even had she even had a special needs child. And so she was busy, wife and special needs child, food chemist, mother, she was entertaining. And she said, I felt like I had to be the perfect wife and the perfect chemist and the perfect thing on the perfect thing. And one of my friends, she wasn't even a friend, she was a neighbor. We were walking, and she says to me, "Oh, Mary, you just look like you're going through the motions. You might need some breath therapy." And Mary's like, well, Mary says, I went, and in my first experience, and she described her experience, and I won't share the details, but she said, I decided I wanted to do that. And now she helps people all over the world. Go on the website, thebreathofyourlife.com. Mary, you have gifts that I can't even describe. You're connected to spirit. Talk to us about how you see that people that don't even know they can literally redefine what they think of as success and what you see in your work.
Well, success is a word that we all have to learn to define for ourselves, right? Because there's what the world outside tells us is successful. You buy a house, the typical American dream, a house, the picket fence, 2 kids, the car, you get a promotion, you get a bigger car, you get another promotion, you get a holiday home. And then why the heck am I still feeling unfulfilled? And this is the way a lot of us are living, because we are doing what we've been taught to do. And yet inside, we're not feeling, we might have outer success, but inside, we're still not satisfied with ourselves. And so the work I do really helps people to go inside, to let go of some of the, the conditioning and the programming that maybe we picked up from the collective, the community that we live in, ancestral stuff that we have taken on and into our life, and really start to get to know ourselves and redefine, well, who am I and what is it that I want? Start listening to our heart, start listening to what it is that we want, and start to reframe success. Because when we think about our children, I'm a parent, right? And if you're not a parent, maybe you have a favorite niece or a younger sibling. When you think about them having a successful life, most of us will say, I just want them to be happy. I just want them to be happy. And yet when it comes to ourselves, we might be perfectly happy spending an afternoon, with our family, having a picnic on the beach, and internally going, but I could have been making calls. I should have been doing my emails, or I should have been doing this, or I could have been more productive. Why didn't I think of doing that? Why did we don't actually allow ourselves the time and space to actually be happy, to be the kind of success that we're looking for. And so success to everybody is going to be different, but it always starts with redefining what it is truly for you, without that filter of what the world is telling you, or your family is telling you, or your friends is telling you it should be for you. And often our friends and family are telling us things not trying to sabotage us, but they're trying to, you're really good at this. You should be a professional photographer. You're really good at that. You should be on stage. You should be da-da-da-da-da. They're trying to help us. But we might love photography and go, well, yeah, I'm good at it, but that's not what I want to do every day. But because we're told we should, we go along with it. And so it really is about learning to go within. And as far as I'm concerned, the only way in, the truest way in, is going to be with your breath, because breath is respiration, breathing, respiration, re-spiritization. How we reconnect with spirit, Holy Spirit, our spirit, the spirit of our heart, the spirit of our little girl. And that's our way in, and that's our way to learn for ourselves what success is for us.
You see why I love Mary so much? Thank you. Such a blessing. Andrew Crawford, you didn't have to do what you did. You didn't have to create a whole new company to focus on saving millions of small businesses. But you knew you could, and you had the vision, and you did. You're a man of strong faith, I know. It guides what you did and why you did it. But yet the business is so mundane. You deal with blocking internet criminals' attempts at stealing stuff and hurting people because they don't care. Talk to us about what you see happens when someone realizes they can protect themselves to grow when they didn't even realize that they needed protected in the first place.
That's a mouthful. To me, it's assisting with the security mindset that will protect them. I mean, they've worked all these years to build a business, and then to have it ripped out from underneath them isn't a definition of success to me. That's a definition of, oops, I didn't see that one coming. And I don't want to see that. I see, from a technology standpoint, I see how it happens, but in compliance, it's more than technology. It's also teaching people how to change, and that change will make them successful, or shall we say, keep them from being unsuccessful. I love what Mary said about, the trappings of life, but at the same time, people do have businesses they need to protect to have that life. And destroying your livelihood because you didn't do something that could have easily been prevented, it just doesn't sit well with me, and particularly for Christians. I would love to protect Christian businesses in particular. But small business, there's 30,
incoming transmission.
Sorry about that. There's 32 million of them here in the United States. They employ the majority of people, and they are the least protected. And so my heart goes out to small businesses, and that's who I want to protect. The big corporations are doing their part, and they're still falling. And so how's the small business going to be successful if they succumb to internet criminals?
You and I talked beforehand. I mentioned to you that I see that there is an aha moment that you create with those whose businesses you serve, when they realize how vulnerable they are, and they realize how, let's call it, I was going to say easy, let's just call it stepwise it is to block and prevent that vulnerability. And knowing they've done it gives them a confidence and an assurance that they didn't have before. They had ignorance and a lack of vulnerability awareness. Now they're not only aware, it's kind of like people who say, I can deal with the truth, I just need to know what it is. And it's like, and you're giving it to the cold slap of reality and then saying, but here, change your modem, get a password manager, use this, do this, and let's get these things in place. And then when you get breached, like everybody else is going to get breached, and they try to sue you for negligence, you're solid because you've been on a road to compliance for the last, whatever. So it literally takes them to a higher level of knowing that they're successful because they've literally had the wisdom and the based on what you've shared with them to protect themselves from what they didn't even
and not being the low-hanging fruit for the internet criminals.
That's a nasty term, isn't it? No one likes to be the low-hanging fruit for criminals.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
They're out to pick off the easiest ones they can find. So,
Wow. So Andrew, thank you Thank you for being here. I love what you do. You're a transformation agent for all of us, even one person, even one person businesses. And most businesses in the managed service provider area don't want to have anything to do with a business that's less than 25 people. And Andrew focuses on 1 to 10. It's a blessing. It really is a God blessing. Okay, Barry Bevy, I saved you for last because you have one of the most intriguing categories of expertise. I'm going to read it, get it right. The man speaking at the New Level of Life conference next month is an expert at mindful longevity, experiencing a younger brain as we age. If we can do that, that's redefining success. Everybody thinks, well, you get old, you lose your man. I can't find my car key. Not Barry. Barry's in the, it doesn't have to be that way. Barry, talk to us about how people change the way they manage aging and how that literally creates a new definition of success aging.
Thank you, Rich. Andrew mentioned destroying your livelihood, and you said aha moment. And I recently did the series on online on social media of Give Yourself the Gift of Health, the 12 Days of Christmas. And I listed the most important thing in wellness as to being mindset. You know, we don't know what we don't know. And, you know, I thought I knew what good health was until I married a woman that didn't have good health. And through the years, we, you know, worked to improve our lifestyle habits so, you know, she could get off of pharmaceuticals. I married a wonderful woman in 2000, and she'd been treated for lupus with pharmaceuticals for 10 years. And this isn't the forum for this. However, she passed away when she was 46. After being treated for lupus for over 20 years with pharmaceuticals. The doctors that treated her, you know, commented that the pharmaceutical side effects were as damaging to her body as the disease itself was. And so, you know, that was an aha moment for me. And as I look back, there are things that we could have done to change our habits. And, you know, prior to that, I owned an engineering company in Southern California. We were quite successful. And to me, success was, you know, being married and having a wonderful family. It was also having that bigger house and that nice car and landing that big, you know, public works project to design and have our company name attached to. And losing my wife changed my whole idea about what success really is. And you know, it's about our life. It's about the people around us. It's about what we can do to help others. I went through some financial struggles after Linda passed away, a lot of medical bills, even though we had insurance. And one of my friends and colleagues, here I am changing my career, struggling financially, helping 2 teen girls get past the loss of their mom. And he tells me, Barry, you are the wealthiest person I know. And I'm thinking, I gave up my engineering company I'm selling my classic cars to pay the real estate taxes on my house, and he's telling me I'm the most wealthy person. Well, he was looking at the relationships and, how I valued wellness. And, how many people do we know that are successful as society defines it and develop a disease? They get a stress-related disease. They have a heart attack. They start to experience memory loss. And it's from stress that they put on themselves to achieve what society says is success. And so I just, to me, success now is financially, I think we need to be successful. If we don't have enough money to take care of ourselves, we can't help others. And, I'm a very spiritual person as well. And one of my things now is to raise money to go down to Belize and build a house for people that are less fortunate than us. And that means I have to have financial and time and location freedom to be able to do that. Because we'll go down and we'll go down for 2 weeks and physically swing the hammer and build a house. My health has to be good. And so I have to take good care of my wellness. I think defining success for me has gone away from the material things and more on wellness and relationships and stepping outside of my comfort zone to improve myself so I can help others more.
Thank you, Barry. You are a unique person. I'm really glad you're on here with us. And thank you for sharing your story about Linda. I think we all need to hear that's a reality. So Denise and I've been married for 47 years. Denise and I just finished a renewal and longevity retreat in Maui. And we were watching the Blue Zones on Netflix. Where do people live over 100 years old and they're still chopping wood and riding horses all day long? And reading Peter Diamandis's book Longevity. Here are the things I'm doing to give myself a good more 10 years until we get to the point where science can add a year to our life for every year we live. It's like, what? And I realized a new dimension came to me. Yeah, we get to do what we do and share our gifts with others. Imagine if we could do it for 30 more years. When we get it right, when we lock onto purpose, when we have gone through our training wheels, whatever that's been, with the things all of you have talked about. Imagine that we do it, we live in a way that gives us lastingness, that gives us healthy longevity, vibrant and joyful longevity. That's a dimension that we all get to pay attention to. Mary is right on it. She's been on it since she began her breath work. Barry lives in that zone. Tim knows it's part of mission. Frank, I've watched Frank turn. Frank, we had to redo all the videos that we did for Frank originally because he weighed, Frank, help me, 85 more pounds. Yeah. And so he's now thin, Frank. He's transformed himself and he's continuing to do work on himself to transform himself. Just an absolute blessing. And all of us are learning from Barry. And Barbara's brand, oh my gosh, Barbara's brand, helping people who are late in their careers to literally refocus on who they are and what they get to do and create a new career of unlimited wellness. It's like, are you kidding me? So we all share that here. And I think that dimension is increasingly more important. Barry just made a great point of that.
And one of the things that for me, I'll just interject here for a moment, because then we'll do a wrap up and let everybody share where people can get in touch with them, is that so often people are not talking about this more holistic aspect of success. of the protection part of success, the wellness part of success. And that's why I was like, I'm going to do a show on success to get the word out there that there are different paths and different options than just, as Mary said, the material, the societal success. We can all have personal success and then share that personal success with the others around us. So thank you so much for all of you. This was a great conversation. So Rich, you can introduce everybody and as they do the final wrap up and just final words. And I will put in the comments how people can get in touch with them. So who are you going to start with?
I want to start with Mary. I will say that what Mary does is love. And we're only here for two reasons. We're here to share love and praise God. And if we don't get those right, we got to go back to number one. Mary's got number one nailed. And so we're going to start with her. Mary, there's so much that you can share. Please share some comments about things that people can do, ways they can think, reset, and a way that they can plug into what you do, because I know you offer something every week for people that don't even have to pay for, and that gets them started on a new path.
Oh, you're muted, Mary.
Oh, I didn't even know I'd muted myself. I'm more techie than I knew. Yes, anybody who's listening, and if you're feeling...
We seem to be having internet issues.
Or feeling that anything that I said resonated with you and you want to learn to do a little...
Rich, you and I are the only ones on the screen.
No, we're all on here, Andrew.
I'm on.
Oh, okay.
No, we're all here, Andrew.
Okay. So for anybody who resonated with anything I had to share and is interested in doing a little deeper dive, going deeper within, you can join me Monday mornings at 10 a.m. I do a free Zoom 30-minute meditation, which hopefully within the next few weeks will also be streaming live to YouTube on. I also have other opportunities to do breath work online Tuesday mornings. If you're local to the Southern California area, I do an in-person event every Wednesday. And of course, you connect with me to do one-on-ones as well, either online or in person. So my email will be shared at the end, and that's the easiest way to get in touch with me. Let me know what you're interested in, and I will be able to direct you to that part of my website and get you all connected. And in the meantime, just take some moments to breathe deep. In those moments when you're feeling uncomfortable and you notice yourself holding your breath, encourage yourself to just take a nice deep breath. You deserve that moment.
And I will reiterate the number one message that's on the homepage above the fold on your website. How you feel and how you live is directly a function of how you breathe. Mm-hmm. And people don't connect those two. It's time to connect them. So pay attention to Mary and go take advantage of her Monday morning. Start the week.
Get grounded. Get grounded for a powerful week. Every Monday, 10 a.m. Pacific time.
I love that. Wow. Frank Lehane, people are ready when they're ready. And that was pretty music. People are ready when they're ready, but they're not ready until they are. And sometimes it takes a while, particularly in the area of money, for people to build a trust and know they found someone that they can trust. So what I know about you, tell us about what is a 20-minute Safe Savers consult, because I saw that offered on your website, and it's one of those things that people won't do until they're ready, but when they're ready, that's the thing to do.
Well, whenever we have an opportunity to talk to somebody from a financial background, their immediate people are, including me, are seized with this fear that they're going to be wrested into a corner and have their checkbook forced open. And here's when people engage in a 20-minute conversation with me, they immediately find that doesn't happen. And what they really experience, a lot of them for the first time, is what deep listening is really about. And for me, who loves to talk, to actually be quiet, but not just polite and quiet and listening in order to learn things. And they end up finding out that they are actually chairing the meeting on the 20-minute. And because what I want to do is I really want to help them start getting a glimmer of what their true north really has been and is, and how they can actually trim for speed and efficiency to get there, become the pathfinder in their own right, and really be comfortable laying open the desires that the world scoffs at, by the way. And somebody that deeply listens to somebody in order to serve them doesn't scoff.
So you're listening to Frank, you're listening to a man who does business with a servant's heart. And that's probably the absolute best thing I can say about Frank Lane. He does business with a servant's heart. It is not about him. When he educates, it's not about he's educating you to for some personal purpose. He is listening to the heart, listening to the dream, listening to the vision, and helping people find the path that they don't even know exists sometimes. It's a blessing. So thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
It's a delight to watch you continue to grow as you help everyone who finds you and knows that you're the trustable one. It's a delight. Andrew, give us people they don't even want to talk about data security. They don't want to talk about it. They think it'll just go away or something, but it won't. And in your wonderful, kind way, share some summary comments with us about how some simple steps and some good guidance and a process can redefine a business's ability to grow and be successful instead of making it tremendously vulnerable.
I got lost along the way, Rich. Sorry.
On your website, there's an offer of 10 tips for people that, need to kind of, they want to, what can I do right now? And most people are like that, particularly small businesses. They're just so busy. No one's an expert at the technology. There's some things that people can start doing that, and then add what your business does, so that it literally redefines their ability to be successful, because otherwise they are just so vulnerable that they literally could have a business killing event, and it's over with even one frivolous lawsuit.
Right. We start with dealing with poor password behaviors and recommending that people get a password manager, even if they don't think they need to do a full-on compliance program. They need something to give them long and strong passwords that they won't think up, and the ability to manage that without having to remember any of those passwords. So
here's a man who can literally define the technologies for you and tell you how they all worked. And he's giving you something very simple. It's like, because it's the number one hole in your business.
Yeah.
This crappy password behavior.
Start with that.
What else you got?
Just get that nailed down, and then The second thing, I see so many articles where somebody gets breached, and that's when they discover their backup's no good. Backups are great, but if you've never tried a restore, you don't actually know if they're working. Such simple steps like that can do a lot to save a business. And if you want more, set up a Zoom call with me. We can talk about your specific situation.
Please realize that the tagline of the brand for compliance specialists is protecting you to grow. Every small business wants to grow, unless it's a hobby. And we're not talking about hobbyists here. We're talking about businesses that employ people and that create livelihoods and that create lifestyle and enable people to be bigger givers and livers in their communities, and maybe even create kingdom businesses. Protecting you to grow. You've got to protect yourself, but you don't know how. There are 19, Andrew's people have defined 19 essential elements of small business data security. You don't even have to know what they are. You just need to know you have to have them. So make sure you get a hold of Andrew and talk to him, because your success will be certainly more confident, and your business will be protected to grow. Thanks, Andrew.
And if I could add with Andrew, I used to work for McKesson, a $110 billion medical company, right? And worked very closely with small medical practices who were always struggling to really, truly understand what HIPAA was and things like that. And talking with you before, Andrew, like your compliance goes even beyond data protection, right? And into those compliance things for all kinds of medical and financial and different compliance issues that companies really struggle with, and helping them identify their potential gaps and make sure that they're in compliance with that. Because one HIPAA violation could be, $10,000, per occurrence.
Right.
Last I heard, unless they change things, but from what I understand, you even go kind of well above and beyond just data security to what are those financial, medical, legal compliance things that small businesses just don't have the bandwidth and time to think of for themselves.
Right, we do. We cover the NIST standards as well.
And he has processes that put things in place step by step. So you're on the path to compliance. You achieve compliance, and then you maintain it. It's being on the path that prevents the frivolous lawsuit for negligence. You got to get on the path. If you're a government contractor, and you've checked the box that you're in compliance, and they find out you're not a government contractor anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, it's not. Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Tim. Wow. Tim, what can people look forward to when they do a better job? Let's say a business that has multiple generations. They've had the dental office, now it's the son's going to take it over, or they have an accounting firm, or they a law firm, and it's multiple generations, and they want to take it to another level, and they just don't know how. Like, how can they redefine their success by you helping them do what you know how to do?
This is a really good question, and the hard thing is, for those type of businesses, the world's changed from when their dad was running the business, right, to with them taking over. And even no matter where we are in our business career, when it comes to marketing, things are changing so much. And what I like to do is I like to take people through a kind of a pyramid, as I explain it. Like, what is the foundation, right? What's the very core? If you do nothing else, like, these things have to be in place before you go out and you do other things, right? If you don't have a website, if you wouldn't buy from your own website, right, then those kind of things, like foundational things, even a Google business profile, which is where whether or not you've done it right, at least having one so people can search you up if you're a local business and find you that way, even find directions to your business. There's little things like that are just foundational. And then I take them through the other levels. What if people are searching for you? What if you need to influence? And I'm quickly going through the levels. No, we don't have a lot of time. Like, people search for you. You want to influence people. And what do you do with the clients that you already have? So there's different layers to what marketing is. And I do my best to really make it easy to understand what marketing options are out there, what marketing options are available, and work to figure out what are your goals, right? What are you trying to accomplish? What are your gaps in your business? And then put together a playbook together with them, right? We're talking about collaboration. This isn't Tim Palmer saying, hey, you have to do this and this and this because that's what I'm selling, right? It's a matter of us making sure we're all on the same page with understanding what marketing options are out there, um, and kind of putting together a playbook of, okay, if you're trying to accomplish these goals, these are the different ways, those levers that we have, and we can move. They'll affect your business, and then after we've collaborated in that way, picking the plan that's right for them. And some of this is not stuff that I do, right? It may be things that I'm like, hey, I know somebody who does this. I know so many marketing people. This is the best, right? You got to go with them for that particular thing. But the important thing is simplifying marketing, breaking it down to its components, the options they have available, what they'll do for them specifically, not for companies in general. What would it do for them specifically? And then again, putting together that playbook so that we can, so that they would know, okay, this is how we're going to move forward. This is what I can expect. And these are the results that I can walk away with, right?
When I listen to Tim, I think, I want a playbook.
I want to play that.
I want a playbook. What's in there? Yeah. Thank you, Tim. That's very. Oh my gosh! You get the last statement again. Did I do that again? Give us the essence.
I encourage people to take their health into their own hands. And it doesn't matter how you define success. If you don't have your health, you aren't going to be able to pursue it. And let's face it, our medical profession gives us pharmaceuticals for long-term illnesses. They don't do anything to heal, they just mitigate the symptoms. Our food industry is putting all sorts of bad stuff in processed foods. And, I feel bad about that. I grew up on a farm, and I think of some of the practices we had, in the 60s and 70s, and it wasn't real helpful, that we now know better. So, take your health into your own hands and look at what it takes to keep our bodies healthy. We talk about dieting, keto or Mediterranean or whatever, and it's really a lifestyle. And, there's times where I think, well, what did God put on the planet for people to eat in biblical times? It wasn't food out of a box or a can from the grocery store. It was fresh out of the ground or from from an animal. And so don't just do what your doctor says. Think about what you can do for yourself. And you have to have a mindset. So many people have the mindset, and I've noticed this more predominant being here in the South Carolina and the Southeast versus California, where I spent most of my life. But you develop the mindset that as you get older, you're going to lose your memory. You're going to get overweight. You're going to get diabetes. Dad died of a heart attack. Mom got Alzheimer's. My sister got cancer. Therefore, I'm going to get that. And that's just not true. Yes, there is some genetic connection there. However, what I've learned in the naturopathic, the natural wellness world is that you can significantly, like 70%, 80%, reduce the potential of any genetic predisposition by your lifestyle, by eating clean, by avoiding toxic substances, getting enough sleep, and supplementing. And I have my business in working with stem cell activation, your own stem cells in your body, and brain health has come gradually by seeing what's important. And it was so refreshing studying under Dr. Amen, because he does not use pharmaceuticals only as a last resort. Does he use pharmaceuticals to treat his mental patients in his clinics, which are throughout the US? And he says you got to love your brain. And when you think of it, the brain is the control center of our well-being. And if you take care of your brain, the rest of your health of all the rest of your body just starts to fall into place.
So when we think about Barry, we think about smart aging through clean decisions. So make a priority to start making clean decisions about what you eat and how you live and how you sleep, and those things that are key legs of the stool of health. Mary, how you breathe. I heard it. And by the way, Mary's a food chemist. So when she has forgotten more about proteins and protein synthesis than we will ever know. Okay. It's like, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. And yeah.
And I was just going to say, Mary, we're going to have to connect. I meditate and do tapping every morning as part of my morning ritual before I do anything else.
He's going to be on your Monday call, Mary.
Breath work is not part of it, so I have to add that in.
breathwithnewlife.com. Be on the Monday call. Just sign up. It's okay. Barbara, this has been an absolute delight. Do you want to wrap us up and put a bow around this? We all got ways that people can reach out to us.
Absolutely. And I've put yours, for you yourself, put that in the chat. So thanks, everybody. This was a great conversation, just sharing all of the different options that we have. And that's exactly what this show is all about. And if anybody, this is an offer out there, if anyone that either on the panel or is listening who would like to be a co-host and bring their own panel, reach out to me and I would love to have you. So that would be awesome. Anyways, have a great day. And I just got my words just totally tongued. Anyways, have a great day. Thanks again for coming and redefining success. So for you today, how are you going to redefine success for you? Anyways, have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.